Kevin Yates here. So today I want to share with you how to build muscle with resistance bands. And resistance bands are a great tool and they're very effective for building muscle because what they do is they help to increase the tension on the muscles during exercises, more specifically during parts of the exercise where it would get easier to do. So for example, if we take a bicep curl, we know that the hardest part of the bicep curl is getting the weight from the bottom position or the start position to about halfway up. And then after we get from halfway up and we come up to the top, if we're using dumbbells or a barbell, the exercise gets easier because the weight's getting closer to the body. So it takes tension off the muscles and they don't have to work as hard. But when we load a band onto it, now we put a band on this movement, what we've got tension at the bottom through the halfway up, just like we did before. But now when we go halfway up to all the way up, the band is getting a bigger stretch. There's more tension in the band. And now that means that there's more tension on the biceps because as that band stretches, it gets harder to pull it up to the top. So the muscles now really have to work throughout that full range of motion. So there's more tension on the muscles, which means that we challenge the muscles to work harder. And that's the key, because if we're going to build muscle, we've got to challenge our muscles to work beyond a level that they are accustomed to. One way that we can use them is we can use bands with body weight type movements. So, we can strap these things around our bodies, like doing a push-up. So, just wrap it around the back, put it in the hands here, and then we do push-ups, right? Same thing. Like I said, we do bicep curls, do tricep extensions, we can do band pull-aparts, face pulls. There's so many different ways that we can use bands to add more tension and increase the challenge of exercises that we could typically do with like body weight. Another way that we can use these is to use them with dumbbells. So for example, again, using the push-up from before, well, if we switched it, and let's say we were using dumbbell chest presses we were doing. So if I have dumbbells in my hands and I've got a band just hooked up just like this, so you can see it's around my shoulder blades, right under my arms. I'm using a circle band, so it just hooks right in between my thumb and forefingers and rests right in the palm of my hand. Now, if I put some dumbbells in my hands and I'm laying on a bench and I'm doing bench presses or chest presses with dumbbells, same idea is going to happen. As I push the dumbbells up, the tension on the band increases and that movement gets harder all the way up to the top. When I come back down, the tension in the band decreases, but I still have the weight of the dumbbell. So even though the tension on the band is less at the bottom through about halfway up, I'm still working with the resistance of the dumbbell. So the band kicks in a little bit later, but again, it keeps constant stress on the muscles, which is what we need. So, chest presses, we can use them for chest flies, different variations of presses, incline presses, and, regular flat bench declines, things like that. So there's obviously more exercises we can do, but, for the sake of the video and keeping it in a reasonable frame of time here, I'll just mention a few of these. One of the other ways we can use resistance bands to build muscle is by attaching them to a barbell while we do a lift. So this is great for something like doing barbell squats or Romanian deadlifts or just standard deadlifts. By attaching the band to the ends of the bar, you need two bands if you're going to use it on a barbell because you want to attach it on both sides, but it's the same principle that happens. So it's a great way to add some extra load to barbell exercise without having to just increase weight on the bar all the time, loading more plates on there and or having to add more reps if you're doing the same weight. It adds a new stimulus to that exercise as well. So it's like an accommodating resistance is what it's called. We can also do a combination. Instead of attaching the band to the bar while we're doing it, we can attach the band to our body. So same example like before. Let's say I'm doing a Romanian deadlift. So I've got the band anchored behind me, so it's pulling my hips backward, and I just come out far enough to put some really good tension on the band. And then if I'm holding a bar or even dumbbells in front of me, and I'm going through this Romanian deadlift here to here, now if I just had the weight of the bar, that would provide some resistance. It would be a challenge, but now I get an added challenge because every time I go back, the band is pulling me backward at the bottom, and it's making it harder for me to extend my hips and come up to the top. So I not only have the weight of the bar pulling down on me, but I've also got another form of resistance with the band pulling me back. So I've got load pulling me down and back at the same time that I have to overcome to finish that movement out. So that's a way that we can do it. Another way is we can simply put the band around. I don't know if the camera will get this in, but if I wrap this band around my knees, right through there, and then if I did something like hip thrusts where I'm laying on with my back on a bench and I've got the band and I double wrap the band around the outsides of my knees, and then I'm trying to, I'll show you from the side, now I have to stretch and pull the band apart with my legs as I go through the hip thrust, which is just like the RDL movement. So I have to go through a hip extension and couple that with pulling the legs out, which activates the glutes a little bit more. And it just puts a whole lot of load and stress on the muscles of the glutes, the hips, and the lower body. So it makes things like that a really effective exercise. So another way that we can use resistance bands to build muscle are through things like set extension techniques. So for example, if we take a barbell exercise like a bench press, the one problem with that is that research shows that one of the keys to building muscle is training either to failure or just short of failure. We've got to push to that level. And with a barbell, like a barbell bench press, it's very difficult to do for safety reasons, right? We can't go to failure, so we have to stop short. But what we can do with a band is that we can come off the set of the barbell, do as many reps safely as we can, rack it back up, and go immediately into a set of banded push-ups. So that's a way to extend the set. And we can do banded push-ups really close to failure, if not to failure, because there's no risk involved. If we don't complete the rep, we're just going to be right there on the ground. We're not falling, we're not crashing a bar onto our body. Another way that we can use resistance bands to build muscle are through what I call primer sets. You might think of these a little like, in bodybuilding terminology as pre-exhaust sets, where we take one exercise that we're going to do. So let's say, for example, we're going to do a row, right? We're going to do some kind of row, bent over barbell row or a seated cable row. And so we want to prime the muscles that we're going to use. And so what we can do is a primer technique by taking a band and doing an exercise like a face pull. So if I've got my band, hooked up here, and I can just do a set of face pulls and really prime the muscles really well with an exercise that has good tension, but it's not quite as intense and demanding as the big exercise, the big rowing, the barbell row or the cable row. So we can prime the muscles, we can get good blood flow into the muscles, we get a great pump going, and we increase the activation of the muscles as well. And then we go into our set of doing the row, and it is an amazing way to increase the effectiveness of that exercise and get more bang for your buck. So another way that we can build muscle using resistance bands is by doing things like supersets or trisets or giant sets. So for example, a 3-way shoulder set where we can really do a lot of work in here would be taking 3 exercises, all basically for the shoulders and adding some upper back in there as well. And then what we're doing is we're working on like some up and overs with the band. So we do about a set of 10 up and back with those. Then we go right from there into doing some face pulls. So right in there, we do about another set of 10, put a good resistance on it. And again, I like the bands because what's different about bands versus using something like a rope attachment on a cable stack is that with bands, I don't know if you can see it from here, but when I pull back on a face pull, if I only have a rope attachment, I can only pull that rope so far apart. But what I can do with a band is I'm not only pulling back, but I can stretch that band apart as well. So it increases more activation to the rear delts and the entire upper back. Absolutely just puts it to work in a way that you don't feel the same on a cable stack with a rope attachment. So face pulls like that, and then finally we finish with band pull aparts, a set of 10 there. So you've got 10 up and overs, 10 face pulls, 10 band pull aparts. You do those back to back to back, and you are going to be feeling some muscles that you didn't even know you had in your shoulders, in your upper and mid back. It's crazy, but it works really well. And then finally, The last way that we can use resistance bands to build muscle is through something in applied neurology, a technique we use called muscle mapping. So muscle mapping is basically a way to increase the activation of the muscles that we want to work on by activating areas within the brain and the nervous system that drive more activation to the muscles that we want. So what happens is we get not only more activation of the muscles, but we also get increased strength, we improve performance, and we decrease pain by using muscle mapping drills. And muscle mapping we can do, though I have videos of muscle mapping for like pushing patterns. So if you have a chest day, you can do muscle mapping for the chest and the pecs. I have videos on muscle mapping for the back. So doing lat pull downs and rows, anything with a back day or a pulling day. I've got videos for that as well, or a video for that. And then I've also got one where we work on the lower body, so glutes, hamstrings. If you're doing deadlifts, if you're doing squats, muscle mapping is a highly effective way to get more activation and better performance and more work out of the muscles that you're using. So make sure you have the right bands. I love these bands. These are from Draper Strength. I've had these bands for about 2 years now, probably a little bit over that, maybe right around there. And they're still in perfect condition. And I use these bands a lot. I am pulling them, stretching them. I do a lot of work with bands, and I've got different weather conditions and everything. I'm stepping on them and anchoring them a lot to doors and under my feet. So these bands have to be very durable, and these have lasted a good 2 years, I'd say, by now. So I'm gonna post some links in the description box below where you can get these bands. Full transparency, I am an Amazon affiliate, so if you click the links, what that means is that if you make a purchase using one of the links below, I get a small commission. Now that you know how to use resistance bands to build muscle, you might be wondering, what are some of the best tips for building muscle after 50? So if that's what you're wondering, then be sure to check out the video above, and I'll catch you there.